Episode 3 of the Barrel Barn. Obviously, I'm Wyatt here, Wyatt Mascarella.
Drew Stengren.
Big topic today that we're going to cover is handling failure. Tough one, man. Tough one for handling failure and potentially not really being in the lineup. So handling failure is one piece of obviously just having to deal with it. And then getting to play every day is still a huge win. But there's obviously days where good luck, dude. Like, you play today and then you don't play for 8 more days. How are you supposed to handle failure then? I'll let you touch on that, and then I'll give my life experience with that, and then we'll kind of bounce it back and forth. We have some good insight on this because we both have went through this.
Yeah, it's different throughout every level. Like, you could say college, you play 4 games a week max.
Exactly.
Professional, you play every day. So it's you got to handle it in different ways. We'll start with like high school, college.
Yeah,
obviously.
for sure.
It's not easy. Like, you can go a weekend and go 0 for 12. That's not a lot of at-bats.
Literally.
That's a whole weekend, and you have the whole week to sit on it. Like, you could argue that that's handling failure is the most important thing to do in baseball.
1,000%. 1,000%.
It's not easy. I dealt with failure my first 2 years, especially as a college hitter, because I wasn't very good yet. Like, that's kind of the reality of it.
Fair enough, yeah.
And it's the mental grind of it is so hard because, like I said, you have to go through four games, maybe mostly 3 games if you're playing every day.
Yeah.
And the thing with college is, and high school, if you don't perform, you're done. Like, you could have a 12 at bat weekend, not play well, and that's it.
Literally.
And like, we know guys going through that right now. Like, it's just the reality of it. It's a harsh reality, but those college coaches, they want to win, and if you're not doing it, that's it. So I think the biggest thing that I had to go through and like learn was not putting too much pressure on myself. Being like, all right, like, what happens. Like, I know I've put the time in. I trust what, like, my training to this point, and I just got to roll with it. Like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like,
yeah. I think the toughest part about that on the college side, high school side, guys are way more lenient with you in terms of, like, if you're an older guy, you get a little bit more opportunity. If you're a younger guy, you might not. In terms of college, it's hard because as a player, we are put into this like aura of you have to listen to your college coach. Your college hitting coach is telling you to do this. Well, what happens when you fail? When you fail and you go 1 for 15 or 0 for 15, but you're trying to do what he's telling you to do, who, what, when, and where? What are you supposed to do from there? Like, it's such a hard place because they're expecting one thing for you to listen and be coachable, but they're also expecting you to give them results. And if you're not giving them results, they have to go to the next guy. It's their job on the line in 95% of cases, right? You obviously have your 5% of whatever. Your coach is a D3 coach, D2 coach that's been there for 28 years. Like, he's not going anywhere. But in the majority of cases, if you're at the Division I level, really high D2 level, really high NAIA level, those guys are trying to move and get to a better school. So if you're not willing to make those changes and be coachable, they don't want to give you a chance. Now, on top of that, you fail, they're like, well, this gives me even more reason to not play them. As a hitter, we need to look at that and be like, okay, well, he's asking me to do this, and obviously I'm not doing it properly, or I'm not doing it right. Now we need to look at it from a lens of, okay, so how can I get better trying to still listen partially to what he's saying? What I tell everybody, if you're failing doing what they're saying, try something else. It sounds stupid, and it sounds so simple. Try something else, because whatever clicks, are they going to be mad at you because you went 3 for 4 but you did something different? Not a chance in the world. So I think sometimes we get too overwhelmed, like zealous, trying to listen to everything, and we really just need to get back to being who we are.
You're trying to make people happy, like, and that's reality of it. Like, you see a college coach, like, you want to make them happy so that they play you more.
Exactly.
But like, nothing that a program does or anything is one size fits all.
1,000%.
There's going to be differences between every hitter. Every hitter's different. Like, you can't have one guy do the same approach who, like, a guy, let's say Aaron Judge versus a Jose Altuve. Those guys are just completely different hitters.
Yeah.
And you just can't tell them to do the same thing because they're not going to be able to do the same thing.
For sure.
And that's where I got sometimes in college, was like, I was trying so hard to make the coaches happy, and I think there came a point where I had multiple coaches telling me multiple different things where it was just
Always.
like I was trying to make multiple people happy, and it was overwhelming to me, and that's like part of the reason that I struggled because
For sure.
there was 2 coaches telling me 2 different things. It's hard to do 2 different things.
1000%. You can't focus on everything.
Yeah.
You also have to hit the round ball with the round bat. Good luck. It's hard enough as it is when you're at the top of your game. Now you're not even giving yourself a chance to be at the bottom of your game. You're below that. You're in the depths. We need to get you back up to where we can at least be steady and understand what we're doing. But no, it's such a tough struggle for young guys, and to be fair, even for older guys that are in a new position. Like guys are going from portal to portal, whatever they're doing. They're going from school to school to school. When you're trying to prove yourself all the time, it's not that easy, because you could be 360 with 25 homers, and then all of a sudden you're Tommy Tanks going to LSU. There's more expectations for you to do better than what you did at NC State than what you're supposed to be doing just being you.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that and kind of take that into consideration. That's obviously the top of the top. But as a young kid, you go from being a high school player where you're everything. You're that guy. Yeah. Now you go to a freshman level player where it's like, good luck.
No one cares what you did.
Literally, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Those numbers are absolutely mean nothing.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I've noticed, like when I'm at my lowest as a hitter, is like you're going to go into those days, and we talked about it earlier, like that one feel I have where it's like I know it's like, okay, I'm going to have to kind of grind it out today.
Yeah.
You just got to compete. And that's what it comes down to. Like every day you're going to have to compete, but there's those days where you might be thinking a little bit more. You might feel something in your swing, and that's natural. Like that's going to happen. You play a lot of baseball, it's going to happen more often than not.
1000%.
And it just comes to a point where it's like, okay, like I have to be better than him today at some point, in anything. And obviously, it's like if you get a knock the first AB, you're like, okay,
feel great today.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I mean, you just got to compete at the end of the day.
The competition side, I think, is something that's getting phased out of training, which is such a terrible thing, because you train, and then it's like, okay, well, what do I do against the actual guy?
Yeah.
How do I get through that scenario of the bottom of the fifth in a high school game when you only play 7?
Yeah.
And it's your last at bat.
Yeah. And that's why I like what we've been doing so much. Because it takes away like the just overall, like not boringness, but monotony of hitting off a machine every day. Like you can do as much as you want, like, but you're not going to get mixed pitches or anything like that. Like to put in perspective, me and him have been doing basically live ABs where he throws like from a really close distance at somewhat decent. It's like where he's throwing different, you're throwing different pitches, and it's hard
for sure.
Like we don't know what the exact
velos
are and everything, but it's hard. You got to compete. Like today, I sucked, but the 2 days before that, I was good. So it's like it's just one of those things where it's
when you have 4 homers through 2 days of it, and then the third day we don't go deep. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It is what it is. So, but yes, when you have to learn that edge of like, there's no switch to be flipped, right? So that was such a thing that like when you're younger, you get told that you're like, that's BS. I can flip that whenever I want. And then all of a sudden the occasion comes where you need to flip it and it doesn't flip. And you're like, okay, I need to figure this out. Why is it not flipping when I need to compete? Because we'll play wiffle ball, right? And it's like mess around. And then all of a sudden someone says something kind of funny. It's like, okay, here we go. I'll turn it on.
Yeah.
And you can turn it on, right? But that's the fun of it. Now, when you get to the competition at the highest level, you can't do that. You have to prepare to do that. And that's where that routine and that piece of it comes. If you think that it's just all fun and games and then here we go, bottom of the ninth, we need you to figure it out. It's just not how it works. You have to be ready all the time because you don't know. Baseball is a fail sport. You don't know when that success is going to come. So you can't just bank on it coming at that one point. You have to make it happen. You have to put the time in and do the right things every swing, every at bat, not just be like, okay, 1 of 5, I'm going to really lock in on. It's just not how it works.
Yeah. I think guys get to a point, and like I said, like guys get a knock first at bat, and they're like, okay, like you got my knock for the day. Like
exactly.
I've seen plenty of dudes who do that. Like they get their hit, and they're like, all right, like the rest of the ABs don't matter. It's like, no, those add up. Because if you're feeling good now and you get 3 hits today, the days you don't feel good and you don't get any hits, like it evens out. Like you can't just throw away ABs and they're like, guys, we're down 10. Like who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Get those hits. Like,
Yeah.
those at bats add up at the end of the year. Like the ones that you throw away, and like actually those are the ones that I think about a lot. Even like I'll look back at my college at bats. I'm like, damn, like I kind of threw that one away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I noticed there were times when I was really good, like my junior year when I swung it really well. Dude, those 4 for 4 days where I have 2 infield hits, that's a huge day because there's so many days that you go through it and you hit a laser beam right at the shortstop and you're like 105 EV right at the shortstop.
mm-hmm.
There was my barrel. But you can't get down about it because that's the role of the game. You could hit a 6-hole banger that's at 72 miles an hour.
I think
that makes up for it there.
The analytics side of baseball has gotten so in depth now that the beauty of that is lost.
Kinda
Like
gone.
Like people don't appreciate the hits.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't care how they
1000%.
come. Like I do
Dude,
not.
I said this to one of my the Cornerstone kid that I work with, and I was like, Luke came back to me. He's like, 0 for 9, whatever, and he's like, dude, I'm disappointed in myself. My coaches, I can feel their frustration because I'm one of the better hitters. I should be doing more. I was like, dude, like, who cares? You're 0 for 9. That's 3 days. How many more days of baseball are you gonna have? 40 in this season, 50 in this season, whatever, dude. Like, don't let 3 days diminish your whole year. And I was like, dude, you got to remember there's so much good that comes from, I don't want to say it, but a butt out double, sticking your butt out and you just flare one over the first baseman's head, or in his case, over the third baseman's head. Flare a ball, because when you flare one, all I knew as soon as I was in a slump and I'd be like 0 for 9, 0 for 10, 0 for 12, if I hit one ball butt out and it was boom right behind the first baseman's head, I was like, that monkey off my back.
Yeah,
I knew it was there. That was my time, and my mental went through the roof because I was like, that if that one's dropping, the balls I hit hard are going to drop too. Now I know that it's in the right side of the baseball gods.
That's like the messed up thing about baseball is you could go 0 for 3 with 3 barrel lineouts, but if you go 3 for 3 with 3 like
infield singles,
an infield single and a jam shot double, which day do you feel better about yourself?
Yeah, 1000%.
You're the 3 for 3 day where you're like 3 knocks.
Yeah,
like
you're going home like that average went up big time today.
And that's the crazy thing about baseball is like you get so caught up in the training and everything. Mm-hmm. It's like my swing has to be perfect. That's why I like competing right now. It's like I don't have to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the day, whatever the Rapsodo says, which sometimes it's a little weird, but whatever it says, like it's like I got a hitter, I didn't, like
1000%. And think about it. What we just talked about today, like. We hit and we can do really well. We can hit the machine at 120, it seems like at times. Perfect. Barrel, 105, 110, 113, 115. And then but we're in a controlled environment. All of a sudden we take the control out of it. And what happens to the swings? Like our mental approach isn't the right way. Our mindset isn't good going into that at bat. Like we had to stop and talk about like, hey dude, like you're swinging at everything. And that's okay. We want to get swings down, but we don't. We also want to have the approach side of it. What are we looking for and what can we do damage with? That's the most important piece. We talked about a goal for Drew prior to this point was really trying to understand how to get the power numbers slightly kicked up. Now, are we worried about bat to ball? Not at all. We don't strike out much. We don't swing and miss much, to be totally fair. So what do we need to do? We need to understand how to shrink the zone to a positive point of finding and doing damage.
Be more picky with it.
1000%. And when we get done and we throw slider, curveball, and we're swinging at all 3 of them, and it's like kind of not a shitty swing, but underneath, around, rolled over. It's like, okay, well, what were we really looking for? Were you sitting breaking ball there? Or was it I saw it and I just wanted to swing at it? 95% of the time it's the second version. When really we need to be like, okay, I'm on the heater, but it happens and I get my barrel out and we get extended on it. That's the 105 ground ball to the third baseman, or the 110 ground ball to the third baseman. Like we have to reel back some of the mindset and some of the approach that we have and just make it more simplistic.
Yeah, it's like people search for the extra base hits so much now, where it's like you want to pull the heater. When I'm at my best, I hit the heater off the L screen.
1000%.
And it's like oh, curveball, that ball's smoked. Like that's the difference makers. I think some guys now are trying to hit for power so much that they're getting way too rotational and hitting, like, when you start hitting the
Yes.
heater, like, down the third base line,
It's not a good
you're
thing.
not in a good spot. Like,
No. And
like,
heck,
and that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And to be fair, like, do guys hit the ball harder that way? 1,000%. Do balls hit hard have a higher percentage chance of being hit? Yes. But you're susceptible to everything else. I look at it from a catcher's perspective. Like, I know what I'm going to do to you immediately if I see you fly open. Good luck, dude. I'm going to throw the ball up and into your hands to make your head move back because you have zero chance at the ball away. If you move your head back 1 inch, slider, heater, and we'll see you for 4 more of those, and you might strike out 4 times today. Like, I need one guy to be 92 to 95, and you have zero chance.
Yeah.
And that comes from me looking at it as a pitching perspective. I can dominate that hitter. That hitter has zero chance against me. The guy that stays through the middle and hits the ball away well, okay, I have to make a good pitch on you. I have to get my guy in on you for you to feel slightly uncomfortable. If not, you have every advantage.
Yeah.
And people get so lost in the approach. Like, what is the approach? What is your approach? Every coach asks you, what's your approach? Nobody can answer it. Well, I'm looking up the middle. What does that mean? What are you looking at? Are you trying to hit it to center field? Are you trying to hit it to the gaps? Are you trying to get the off speed to the pull side? Are you trying to get the off speed to the opposite field side? Where are you trying to go? Nobody tells anybody those answers.
Yeah.
That's something you have to figure out for yourself. And I know specifically for me, when I found out that heaters are supposed to go through the center of the field into the gaps, and then the off speed are the foul lines, my whole game changed.
Yeah.
I went from being a very solid hitter to a good hitter. Like, I knew what I needed to do, and that's where it went.
Yeah.
And too many people get lost in that thought.
That's something my college coaches early in my career were really good in instilling was an approach. High school, I bet you any high school kid who's watching this right now probably doesn't have a hitting approach.
You just see ball, hit ball.
You see ball, hit ball, which at that level you can.
You can.
Like,
you can get away with it.
But it gets to a point where pitchers start getting so good that you need to have an approach. And
Exactly.
I think that's the beauty of what we've been doing with the live BP for me is finding what I'm really good at and finding like what I don't do so well that I can kind of, and we've started solidifying things like I got to see the ball up, like stuff like that. So it's just like I don't think kids go through enough failure in training to be like, oh, this is what I need to look for.
Because if they fail in their training day, they're like, wow, that was a terrible day.
Yeah.
They don't look at it as like, that was the best day I could have had because I learned from that.
Middle of the day today, you're like, I'm carving you right now. Like, you started talking, and I literally said to you, I was like,
This is good.
This is good for me. Like the last 2 days, I had like 8 extra base hits and a few homers. Like it was like
I'm great today.
I'm driving home, like
I should be in the big leagues tomorrow.
Yeah, like this is awesome.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, you're sweating over it, all this stuff. I'm like, no, like I'm just like trying to like rehash on what I did, and figure out what I need to work.
That's where it speeds up on you a little bit too, right? Like all of a sudden you swing and miss at one, you're like, shh, what am I supposed to think now?
Yeah.
How do I get back to square one?
That's where it can't.
That's where we spiral.
You just let go of it and say, okay, like you need your plan going with your plan. Your plan can't change all the time. It's like if you're going into a day
right there. That's a key right there.
If you're going into your day and you're like, I want to see the ball up, like towards the middle half of the zone. That is it. It might change per pitcher,
and it might change based on 2 strikes for sure.
Yes, but you can't be like, okay, flew out.
Got to do something new.
Scrapping that one. I'm going to see the ball down now. It's like no.
Be stubborn-ish. Like we talked about this in one of the first ones. Like Bryce Harper can walk up there and strike out 4 times because it wasn't in his zone. Bryce Harper is getting paid $400 million to do that. He can afford to. He can afford to.
Yeah.
If they look at him in a year and say, hey man, I don't think this is the right place, 29 other teams are going to say, hey man, we'll take you for the 3-4 hole hitter. And that stubbornness is not meant to be a negative. That's meant to be a positive in the sense that, just like you said, I'm staying with my plan. That doesn't mean I'm looking for one pitch. Plan is different than keyholing one ball. If you keyhole one ball, you're not going to have much success.
Like I had a lot of success the last 2 days before today, and I was just seeing the ball up.
Exactly.
That's literally all I was saying. It wasn't like a certain quadrant of the plate. It was just being like, okay, if this is above like a certain point of my knees, I'm going to swing.
Exactly.
Because I know I can do damage on that. Like just me personally, sometimes I don't hit the low ball that well. Like that's where I start getting myself out. And that's what I did today. Was I chased the breaking ball down a lot. So I mean, there's different things, and like we said with the Altuve Judge thing, there's not one hitter that's gonna different for every single guy, and that's where the social media comes into it a little bit too, where it's like you see 700 swings a day on social media, maybe more. Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to look like him.
Yeah,
you're not gonna.
And there's things you can do to look like them. Like you can be a little bit more rigid with the arms, or you can be looser with the arms, or you can be like Kicknelly, like whatever it is, dude. Like there's so many things that you can emulate and kind of take into consideration, but have a purpose for it. Don't just do it because he's doing it. Mm-hmm. Why is he doing it? Did you figure out how that actually helps him? If that helps him because he's on time, or he's picking the foot up at this point to be ready, or he wants to be able to swing from anywhere, like those are things you have to ask yourself before you answer those questions, or before you really go down the rabbit hole of like, I'm doing that and I'm doing that. Mm-hmm. There's too much to get lost in.
Yeah, and that's where the failure comes.
For sure.
What we started on.
For sure.
It's just, there's so much that goes into it, and you just have to be consistent. Mm-hmm. We talked about the plan, how you go about your business, your routine, everything. It's just the consistency part of it.
Yeah.
If you're consistent, it's going to click eventually. You just have to trust it.
And that goes back to the routine side, right? Like, how do you prepare? So many people, and this has been a hot topic on social media, is like your mindset. What's your routine? What's the process? Like, you hear trust the process all the time. I know we've talked about this 1,000 times, I feel like, but you have to be willing to be stubborn with your routine and your process. If you're not stubborn with it and think that that gets you ready, you're not doing the right thing. You need to find something that makes you feel ready when you're done doing it. It can't be one of those where it's like, I'm loosening my hands right now, the legs are working, we'll see what happens. It's not how it works, dude. Like, you have to get to a point where at the end of your BP rounds, you could hit Nolan Ryan. You could hit Jacob deGrom. You could hit all of those guys with the confidence in your mind. Mm-hmm. That's the self-belief where it comes from. It doesn't come from just showing up to the park and being like, it's Tuesday, man, I'm ready.
And like, especially with BP, like I would even like before games, like if we were playing a team for the first time, sometimes I'd just sit on the field like and act like I was like sunbathing, but I'd sit there and I'd watch their hitters.
1,000%.
And I like, if you see the guy who's hooking heaters, like trying to hit as far as he can, like, oh sweet, he hit about 400 feet in BP.
Always
like,
getting an edge, man.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're not going to see a heater today. Like, you're just not. Like,
that's from the catching side. I used to do the exact same thing. Like, I had the luxury in my junior and senior year of calling pitches for our Friday guy. Mm-hmm. And him and I had such a good relationship that, like, I would watch BP, he'd watch BP, and then we'd kind of convene and be like, what'd you see? Well, the 2, 3, 4 guy that are supposed to be their guys, like, they can't hit this, they can't hit that. Mm-hmm. We should attack them this way, and if they beat us, we'll see what happens. Like, I vividly remember, this isn't for our Friday guy, this was when we were in the regional at Clemson, and Seth Beer was in the lineup. Seth Beer is one of the greatest college hitters literally ever.
Clemson.
Yeah. And we had our lefty going, who was a big arm, a big-time arm, turned down some first-round money, which is awesome, and ended up still getting drafted. He's with the Cubs right now. And he was like 92 to 94, bumps a 6 from the left side with some run, some cut, and a really solid breaking ball. And Beer's a lefty who's left on left, and they're like, you can't miss over the plate with him. If you miss over the plate, he deposits balls. Like, that's a fact. He's got 28 this year. He had 27 last year and had 25 as a freshman. Like, he's going to hit the ball hard. And I know we threw like a 94-mile-an-hour sinker in, and he deposited one like 390 to right field. And I was like, holy Nikes, dude. Like, you are the real deal. Like, when you get to a ball that's supposed to be in your hole, and we missed by, I mean, literal 4 inches. Like, we were supposed to be batter's box line, and we missed in the trough, and he hit it 400. And you're like, holy shit, that guy actually, like, gets it. Like, he gets it. That's a plan. That's an approach, and that's sticking to it. Like, we know how to beat you. You know how we want to beat you. 95% of the time, if you went back and looked at 15 at-bats or 30 at-bats, 50 at-bats, as a hitter, you know what they're trying to do to you. What are they starting you with? Well, a ball down and away, or a breaking ball, or they're starting you what? When you get behind in the count, what do they go with? They go with this, they go with that. You can break down and process that information. And Pro Ball, it's so different. They just tell you, like, hey, man, 0-2, you've gotten 85% sliders down, and
Yeah.
you've swung at 75% of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or 1-1, they're throwing you the changeup. You swing over 1-1 pitches all the time. Stop swinging at 1-1 pitches. Look for the 2-1 pitch that they're actually going to throw you in your zone. Like, there's so many things that go to, but as a high school hitter or college hitter that doesn't have that information, take notes. Write down what they're doing to you and how they're getting you out, and then realize what it is from a clear mindset.
Yeah.
I used to look at all that stuff and I get pissed at myself, be like, wow, you suck for not hitting this. You suck for that. Like, we have to clear our mind and go about it a different way. Do it from a third-party perspective.
Yeah.
How would you judge that hitter? How would you judge this? And then you can build your mindset from there.
You got to be careful with taking notes sometimes. Like, I would take notes and I'd like write down 6 pages worth of stuff. It's like, you got to dumb it down. You got to dumb it down and put it down.
You're not turning it into a professor. It's just for you.
Yeah. And you can take like adjustments. You should take adjustments at bat to at bat. Like, one of my favorite stories from last season in pro ball was like, we didn't have a bunch of those numbers. We had percentages, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it changed team by team, especially since I was so new to the league. Mm-hmm. Like, there wasn't really a set plan for me. Like, you could tell, like, they didn't really have any spray charts on me yet early in the year where they would just kind of attack. And once I had success, and it was like, okay, like, then I had to start playing the game within the game. Mm-hmm. And my favorite story from the season was we were playing Florence, and I had a lot of success at the time. Like, I was hitting balls really hard. On my first 2 at-bats, sawed off to the shortstop and broke my bat.
Oh, bad day.
And I was like, well, it's pretty clear they're throwing me in. Like, first 2 at-bats, I got beat. My first 2 at-bats, and their pitcher could run it up. Like, he threw it pretty hard. And I literally went to our pitching coach in the dugout, and I remember telling him, like, I'm going to get off the plate a little bit. I'm going to sell out on the heater in, just see what happens.
1,000.
And, like, I'm going to stick to that plan. First pitch heater in, hit a double down the line. It was like, okay, yeah, like,
you made
that was the game within the game. If he would have thrown a slider away, I would have looked like an idiot. But it would have been like, okay, like,
now we know
you're making the adjustment now. Now I got.
Yeah, now
but there was
we know.
no reason for them to make the adjustment.
Yeah,
because they beat me twice.
Exactly. Prove that you can do it.
Prove that you can do it first. And there's so many things that you can do within a game. Like, I got another one where a guy was throwing 100 with sink. Like,
gotta hit it.
And I was like, I want nothing to do with that.
Yeah, he's not going away from it.
No, and he's a starter, so it's like I'm going to face him more than once.
Yeah.
And first at bat almost hit me in the kneecaps with it. And you're kind of sitting there the rest of the bat, and you're like, like, I don't like that.
Where should I be?
But I realized through the at-bat, he struck me out, but I realized through the at-bat, he had a really bad slider. And he threw it way more than he should. And you keep watching the other righties up the bat, and you're like, he keeps throwing that a lot.
To get me over to set up everything else.
Yeah, and it's not good. Like, it was a huge velocity difference. And I went to my pitching coach again. This guy, I had talked to him about all my at-bats, it seemed like.
Yeah.
I'm going to send the slider. He throws 3 heaters down the middle, cool. Like, maybe I'll try to fight one off. Like, if he throws them, just take it out of the catcher's glove. But why would I try to? In the next at bat, I got to 2 strikes. He threw me 2 heaters for strikes, and he threw me a little lazy slider. And I hit through the 6 hole and I had an RBI single. It was like,
that's the fun part. Like, you get to learn. Like, there's so many nuances to baseball, and there's so many things that stay the same from generation to generation, right? Like, if you're late on a heater, they're throwing another heater. They're not speeding your bat up with a changeup or a slider. Like, be ready for the heater. If you have a guy that's in high school throwing 92 to 95, he's not going to try to beat you with his off-speed pitch, dude. He's going to throw the fastball. Yeah. So be ready for it. And I think way too often we see guys that struggle in high school and in college, and the whole premise of it is you were just late to the heater. How do you expect to be good if you're not hitting the heater, man? Like, all the big league guys say it, and I used to get so frustrated with it because my senior year I saw so much spin. But they all say the best way to hit the heater or to hit the off-speed pitch is to hit the heater. When you hit the heater, you don't have to see it. And as a young kid, it's like, it's so stupid, man. Like, when I go 1-1, I'm getting breaking ball, and then at 2-1 or 2-1, I'm getting breaking ball. At 3-1, I'm getting breaking ball. Why are they doing it? Because maybe you hit the heater pretty good, dude. Maybe we need to change the sights a little bit. Like, maybe they're afraid of that side of it. But again, like, as a high school and a college guy, if we are missing the straight one, we're not doing ourselves
justice. That's
like
the guys who say best way to not strike out is to avoid getting 2 strikes.
Yeah. Swing early and often, man.
Yeah.
And it, again, with a plan, with an approach, but there's so many pieces and so many things that go into it. But again, hit the straight one. You don't have to worry about much.
Just don't be late.
Just don't be late.
Lewis.
Be ready to swing.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to swing, 0-0, we'll see you, buddy. 0-1. 0-1 comes and they can do whatever they want to.
And that's
they can,
when the at-bats get really quick.
They can throw the heater up. They can throw the breaking ball down. Or they spin on a get me over breaking ball because you're like, oh, my God, I missed the heater. And then you miss the breaking ball, too, and you're like, it's 0-2. Now what are they going to do? Well, you're at the baseball god's mercy, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And there's too much to go along with that, but
yeah,
not bad, dude. About a half hour in. Anything I missed? Anything we missed?
I'm sure there's
too much.
Probably hundreds of things
but
we missed.
That's what we can hit on next time. I'll say this: anybody that's made it this far, questions that you have, please ask. Please ask. Please ask. Please ask. I know we're trying to do a better job of talking to each other instead of talking to the camera, but ask, DM, do all that kind of stuff. Comments,
topics that you want us to talk about.
Yes, those are all good.
We're always searching for those.
I know we took a little hiatus with it, but we're trying to get back to this and trying to do at least a weekly thing, if not whenever we get some time. So we'll hopefully try to crank out at least a half hour a week of this and keep touching on these points. I know I get a bunch of questions daily from guys on Instagram. I know Drew and I talk a bunch, so it's one of those that we're just trying to hit on all these points. So if there's anything you guys have, obviously let us know. And I think that'll probably wrap it up for today.
I think that was good.
Not bad, dude.